Chris is coming to backfill all this. So I'm actually, and that's the other thing, I've actually got to jump on plumbing instead of working on the house. So jumping on plumbing so Chris can backfill this. He'll backfill down there. We got to cut all that back. I don't know when we're going to do that. I might have him go ahead and do some of it, but backfill that, backfill this, backfill through here. That's where we're at. So today is, the guys are picking up, you know, they took all the scaffolding off, so they're moving all that out of the way, so everything around here is cleaned up. We're gonna put some more scaffolding inside the house, so we're gonna reuse the Zonts and Zuckles in there. So getting all that where we can get to it, clean all this up. Inside the pool, we've got to get out inside the sun shelf so that Chris can put gravel in there. I've got to plumb the bubblers, so you'll see that. So there's a lot to do. I'm just gonna keep moving forward. That's all you can do. That's why I did not really put a timeline on it, so I'm not stressing myself. But at this point, there are some other people waiting on me that have to do their job, like the steel guys, and the flooring's already made, the floor joist, so they have to come in. So I would really like to be ready on time. So let's get to it, and we'll see what happens. So this is where we see what kind of job we really did with the vibrating and everything. So they'll get those off. They'll get the stuff out of the sun shelf so I can plumb the bubblers. So I'll set up the time lapse for them. And while that's going on, I'm gonna continue with the plumbing, getting everything down to the pump room. And then I gotta run that conduit, the gray conduit down there for electrical this way, and it ends up inside the house, so that's in there before the pour. So we've got a way to feed our sub panel and run AV, and then I got that spare and all that good stuff. So lots to do, never a dull moment. And then I got to get this done because Chris is coming tomorrow to backfill because the machines have to go to another job, so it's now or never. So had to jump on this and plan on getting this done today, and then I'll get back on the basement and see if we can hit our target. So let's do it. Good morning. So while I was away, Chris snuck over. Said this is a great time for me to start doing some stuff. Jeff's not here. So he backfilled this side over here. Got all this ready. I've got to go to this end. He dug this out for me across this corner. So I've got to come up here and go into the basement. That's the first thing I'm going to be working on today. Well, I need to get it done quickly. He's coming and he'll start backfilling this part. So before he gets here, I gotta get done. It's those 3 pipes and it's my water feed to the pump room. So I gotta get those in, so they'll be in before the pour, and then we'll put gravel and dirt back over this. And then I'll need to plumb the lower pool so you can keep backfilling that. And I've got to work on these. So the Color Vision bubblers. So if you don't know what a bubbler is, well, you know what? I've got one out of the box. So simply what this does is the larger hole on the left, that's where you feed water to it. And the one on the right or center is the electrical conduit. So a light goes in the middle. We're using an adapter that lets us put the micro brights, which are the same lights we're using for the rest of the pool, so it'll all be the same color, temperature, and look the same. And then in the deal on the right hand side, so you see it from here, that is simply a return. It's from the pump, it's drawn out from the drain in the bottom, and it does not return air, it blows water. And it's got a little lid on it and makes it look like a little kind of bubbling fountain. So these go on the sun shelf. Talked with Ms. Beelygood last night, so I know I had originally planned for them to run across the center, and that's not what's going to happen. They're going to run across the third, like if you split the sun shelf into thirds, it'll be the third that's closest to the pool. So I got to plan that out, because while Chris is here, now that he's put all this in, he could do it with the mini, so it's not as imperative as it was for me to rush and hurry up. But this gets formed up so they're all tied together. What I mean by that, what I mean by that is I've got a 3-inch over there. The plans call for, like, most of this stuff calls for like 2.5, but the plumbing store here, they don't keep any 2.5, especially not in any quantity. So we plumb most stuff with 3. That's one a bigger size, so that comes across. You see I had it planned for the center, so I'll have to put a 90 on and get it over here. But I'll measure this out, and actually I already know what it should be. It should be 8 feet, which will put 32 inches is the first third. So 16 is the center. That's about 11 there. So basically right about where the bars are, maybe a little closer this way. Then I'll divide it up that way. I'll have I've got adapters that go 1.5 to 3 inch. So I'll stack these where they go, connect them all with the pipe, and tie it into 3 inch. And you know, they'll be, these get positioned. I'll show you in the book, in the instructions, which I know who has time for instructions, but I guess I'll look at them. I'll position this, do some string. I got the concrete. I'll do the laser, I guess, and have this position the height it needs to be. And I'm gonna drill. My current plan, we'll see if it holds out, is to drill some rebar to give it support until Chris starts putting gravel in here. At which time, yeah. So he needs a backfill with gravel, and we're gonna do that to about an inch or so from the top of the foam. And then when the guys come back to pour, I got really close, didn't it? When the guys come back to pour the basement, we'll also pour this, which will give us our shelf, our little sun shelf deal. That'll be done. So you see all the forms are off. Everything looked great. So that was a nice relief. A little bit of grinding work for James, but that's expected. And the pump room's cleaned out now. Well, it's cleaned out of forms. You gotta, we'll take the saw and cut most of that board out, and then I'll have to jigsaw or sawzall it to the pipes without cutting the pipes to get those out. But we wanted that support, so it's there. That's fine. That's my 3 inch conduit that you saw the other end of, that I've got to extend. That's going to feed the sub panel on this end. And yeah, so I mean, it's coming along. One thing we did a little different is normally you would have a little box out here somewhere that's higher than water level in the pool. You would run your electrical conduit into it, and then you would come out of it into the wherever their stuff's at. But we ran our conduits above water level already, and the conduit that's in the bottom is going to come up and go into a box that will be above water level, and then they'll all go into the electrical box, the control box from Pentair. So that's what's going on with that. Hopefully I don't mess it up. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Those white pipes coming through are for lights. So we'll do the same thing out here. That's a return. It's gonna be right on top of the shelf. It's a little closer than I had planned for it to be. I know it is. Huh. Well, I guess we'll see, won't we? And yeah, so all that's ready, and let's get to it. Chris should be here soon, so I gotta hurry up. But I'm gonna show you this whole process. It's gonna be pretty cool. And continuing to work on the house, getting these filled in between the window pre-bucks. And so James has actually been doing that. He'll have that done today, and then as soon as I get off of this, my next thing is to finally do all the lintels over top of the doors and windows. I still got to do that one. I did do the big one over there, but that one's got to get done too. Yay. And yeah, and then I'm back in on finishing up the stairwell there. That's the last bit to be stacked, and then it'll just be these isolated footings. Chris is going to dig the ones out here for us, so that's going to be nice. Tons of fun all around. Let's get to it. All right, Chris has kept me hopping out here trying to stay ahead of him with the plumbing. But did pretty good. We're only filling to that corner right now because there's a lot that happens through here, and I don't want to rush it. So we'll get to that later. This will eventually have a retaining wall and a set of steps that come around, so all of this will get kind of, it's going to be cut and graded and yada yada. All that's done. This gets a retaining wall that will come around and curve. Chris is just kind of cutting the corner out of it right now. But the idea here is that you see how much flatter that area is now up to this pool. And so then the retaining wall, this gets all backfilled up to this elevation. And that allows us to fill this all in. That ends up being a lot of exposed with no, I mean, there's no door or anything over on this area. This is the mechanical room. We may do a second retaining wall that brings some dirt up here. I don't know yet, but Thomas is doing some drawings for me. But at least I know this happens, right? So this will be grass. So, you know, we'll have some concrete patio here, but then it'll go into grass over there. It steps down, a slide that slides into the lower pool. Yeah. So that's what's happening with that. And just want to give you guys a heads up to see what we've done. It's a little ways down, isn't it? So I'm gonna get over here. I'm gonna show you what I'm doing. All right, so over here, this gets a patio as well. So you come over here, you'll step down onto the sun shelf, which the level of the sun shelf will actually be up here. And then you've got, you know, steps to going into the water if you want. That 3-inch pipe is to feed the 4 bubblers. So I'm gonna take the bubbler, come over here, get my elevation, and Chris is gonna go ahead and put some gravel in here. So I'm gonna 45 that up and over here somewhere, and that'll allow him to probably put probably 1.5 foot of gravel in, so that I've got something to support the bubblers while I'm putting them in. And yeah, it's just getting there. Woody woot woot. Oh, so much better to see this whole back kind of field, right? He's got to dig some holes for me. So there's round columns that go here, and James is working on filling all that in.
Well, up there at the top you did, but from here, maybe.
Right, because I'd planned on I was going to put a full piece in and connect it. So that little, the thinner stuff bends so well, you should be able to slide it in.
Okay.
So James has been working on this. He's doing a good job getting that tight. If you haven't checked him out yet, Head Mechanic 40. I'm trying to convince him to change the channel name to Junkyard James, but you can look him up, Head Mechanic 40. He's still learning the ways of the YouTuber, but got to start somewhere. Check him out. Yeah. So now I can come in and do the top row of 2 12-inch forms. And like I said, I'll show you. This gets lintels, but I believe what I'm gonna do, since they're so close together, I'm gonna take a bar and bend it all the way around. It's 20-foot pieces. So I'll get close, and then I'll come in, start with the full bar over there and bend around. And I'm gonna figure out a way to fasten it and hold them in place. And I'll run the corners down beside each window. But instead of doing little pieces, I'm just gonna do a full piece all the way around. What I'm saying is I'm walking around up here, see what happens in reality. And that's it. So I need to jump in that hole, get that done. And that's gonna be about it for today. We're still shooting for Thursday to pour the basement. It's definitely possible, but I'll see how I feel about it by Tuesday. I'm gonna call Monday and go ahead and set everything up, but I'm not gonna release it. It'll just be a, you know, probably gonna happen kind of thing. If Nadura is able to send me some guys in by Wednesday morning, where we can kind of lay eyes and double check everything, then I probably will be ready. But otherwise, I still got to do all the isolated footings on this. That's a lot of math and figuring that out.